Thank you for being a supervising teacher and hosting our pre-service teachers from QUT. This video is about completing their professional experience reports and will help give you some advice as to how to assess the students and how to complete both their interim and their final professional experience reports. The pre-service teachers are assessed on the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers, or as we know them, the APSTs. The APSTs are categorised on the professional experience report under 5 different sections: planning effectively, teaching effectively, managing effectively, assessing and recording learning, and professional conduct. There are 2 reports for you to complete for the pre-service teacher. The first one is the interim report, and this is due at the halfway point of the professional experience placement. So for example, on a 20-day placement, you would complete the interim report on day 10. This is formative assessment for the pre-service teacher and is there to help guide them to achieve better, to have a good understanding of what they're doing well and what they need to improve on before their final report then is due on day 20 or the final day of their placement, if it's either a 15-day placement, a 10-day or a 25-day placement. The final report is due on their final day of placement. This is the summative piece of assessment, and a student needs to receive either a developing adequately or a well-developed in every section in order to pass the professional experience placement. When completing the professional experience report for the students, whether it's the interim or the final report, you'll see here under each section there's the list of the APSTs. So under section 1, planning effectively, preparation for teaching, there are the APSTs listed in bold. Then there is a bullet point. This bullet point describes what it might look like for this particular professional experience placement. For example, a primary pre-service teacher would, on their second professional experience placement, for which this report is, they would be demonstrating an awareness of students' needs, including the range of ways students learn in approaches to lesson planning. And that's the specific way that you would see that they have evidenced APST 1.1. So for all of the APSTs, you can read the dot point underneath each to get an example of what that might look for, whether it's the first, second, third, or final professional experience placement. Then for each section, in the circles where it says overall assessment of this section, you place a tick or a cross in which one of those that you want the student to be assessed at. So this student might be overall being developed, so that would be the D column in section 1. So only 1 tick or 1 cross is required for a whole section assessment. Whilst you are required to complete a tick or a cross in one of those circles for the overall assessment of each section, there is also a large space for you to include some written feedback. This is what our pre-service teachers value the most and find the most helpful. It's a good idea to give them some positives as well as some areas for improvement. When you get then to the final page of the professional experience report, you'll see this is where you overall grade the student at an unsatisfactory or a satisfactory level. Please note that a pre-service teacher can only receive a satisfactory result if a developing or well-developed has been completed for each individual assessment section. This document here is the Bachelor of Education Primary and Secondary Professional Experience Progression. We also have one for Early Childhood Bachelor of Education, as well as for Masters of Teaching Primary and Secondary and Masters of Teaching Early Childhood. The purpose of this document is to outline all of the APSTs and show, according to each professional experience placement, what that APST might look like. So for example, on their first professional experience placement, the APST demonstrating knowledge and understanding of the intellectual development and characteristics of students would look like on the first placement, just noting down some detailed observations and reflections. On their second professional experience placements, they move to an awareness of students' needs and show evidence in that in their lesson planning. The third professional experience placement, They are demonstrating an understanding of the relevance of responding to students' individual characteristics and developmental stages. So now we would start to see modification and differentiation in lessons and assessments. And then on their final professional experience placement, all students are required to meet all APSTs at the graduate standard. If you need any assistance or guidance at all in completing the professional experience reports, don't hesitate to contact your university partner and they'll be able to assist and guide you where necessary.